And 9.2, I have outside speakers 44. If we yes, that's great. Okay. Whatever. Just somewhere closer to the front. Perfect. There's no one saying. Do you have anything you'd like to say for public comment? I'm just kidding. In an open forum. The meeting has been properly noticed. The meeting has been properly noticed. That is where I see that. Yep. So the public notice is properly noticing. Properly noticed. Yep. I don't even have and then I know Alex is not coming, so we're not short pants. All right, let's call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alexander Woods, Kayla Conlon View, Casey Lease,
Here.
Jesse Suka,
Here.
Nick Halstead,
Here.
Adam Bantel,
Here.
and Caitlin Cunningham.
Here.
All right, and then this meeting has been properly noticed.
Correct, yes.
Excellent, nailed it. And then we have no public comment. And so I think first thing is to move 6.6 and 9.2 up because they are, can we get a motion?
A motion.
Second?
Second that.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, we can start with Sarah.
Lucky.
This might be the first time you've been in front of the board, right? So would you like to introduce yourself? Or maybe that's part of your presentation and I should just zip it. Stay here, go for it.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for having me here tonight. I am Sarah Brown, the Community Education Coordinator. I'm excited to share a quick look at where community education has been and where we're headed. So during our first school year, we offered 90 class and event opportunities. The 604 plus registration reflects registrations in Rec Desk and in-house staff class. We also had additional participation at events like Spring Fling and College Bowl Wisconsin and the clothing swap, where registration wasn't totally required, so we had drop-ins, so our overall community reach was actually greater than that number. We offered 26 free events in the 25-26 school year with our first year, and we reached not only families from Black River Falls, the district, but also homeschool families and communities from La Crosse, Toma, Whitehall, Melrose, and Alma Center. The offerings really covered a wide variety from pottery and welding, our most popular ones, to cooking, music, dance, parenting, financial wellness, and crafts. That variety is important because community education is meant to provide something for everyone. The next slide. So here is some pictures from some really great events, and here's what people had to say about the classes. I truly hope this community education program continues. It's a wonderful opportunity to spread wings and things people might want to try without long-term commitment, to enjoy a go at something new. Thank you for keeping the class affordable. Please offer more of these classes. I had a great time and enjoyed the experience. Would totally do this again. Thank you so much for offering these types of classes. This one was great. Love the class and can't wait for more. Thanks so much for the opportunity. I'll definitely take more art classes if they're offered. I really enjoyed this class. It was a great experience. Would be ready for another class continuing these skills. Invite us all back, perhaps an open session that is project-based for us that have now experienced the first class. I appreciate the opportunity, looking forward to additional class option. Learning is fun. Another person said, I'm very grateful for the class. Thank you to all who have organized this. Please do this again. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Next slide, please. So our summer, this summer we offered 24 classes and events in June and August with 139 participants. I tried theme programming. It's all brand new. Tried Training Tuesday, Wilderness Wednesday at the school forest, Tinker Thursday, and Field Trip Friday and play dates. Next slide. So here are some pictures from our summer program. We had Pom Pom Dance Party with a local dance company that's just getting established. We had at the stables, we also participated. There's some pictures from the school forest, also a beading class and more Pom Pom party pictures. So what will we look like in fall, winter? What have I been working on? Well, our partnerships will continue. We'll continue to collaborate with local organizations, businesses, community groups, and instructors to bring experiences to our schools and out into the community. Looking ahead, I'm hoping to build on what worked and expand the variety of opportunities. Offerings will include arts and craft, fitness and rec, culinary arts, doing more in the face room at the high school, fine arts, music, practical life, and life skills. The catalog just came out in the mail on Friday, I believe, and when I came to school this morning, I had 28 online registrations. That's with no social media posts. That's just the catalog that came out. The final slide, please. I just would like to say thank you to the board for allowing me this opportunity. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to provide our community with these classes. And as Conley would say, curiosity has no age limit. Keep learning, keep growing. This was from our open house, or open gym that we had, and it had an 80s theme.
We could have guessed that. She did it well. So any of the board members have questions for her?
I just want to say I really appreciate you giving us the community's feedback on what you're doing. A lot of times we'll get one or two people that come in and tell us stuff, but it's really fun to hear a well-rounded, kind of cabinet of information about how people are doing. I also have been getting questions, they're calling me about questions, and so I think that's really cool. I've been kind of deferring them to you, but is there anything else we can do to support the effort?
Just get the word out, take a class,
Offer a class?
Yeah, offer a class, exactly, offer a class. Yeah, that's really would be great. it's going really well. I'm excited for the progress we've made. And I just want to point out that the catalog that comes out, classes get added as time goes on, but don't obviously make it in the catalog in time because the instructors have to come up with it so far in advance. But yeah, teach a class, that'd be great. I'm open for anything. The registration on Rec Desk, working with the city of Black River Falls has been wonderful. That's been a great partnership.
I'm not sure if everyone realizes that instead of us buying our own subscription to Rec Desk, Sarah connected with Jared Meyer, who already pays for the whole program for all of the youth enrollment into Parks and Rec. And we can now share that cost and both get to utilize it. Plus a lot of the Parks and Rec things could fit under community education as well. So it's kind of a win-win that families get one-stop shopping for all of those items.
And I was thinking about the community when I went, was trying to pursue that as well, because it's a platform that the community's used to. So
I mean, they don't like a new app every day. Being sarcastic.
That's a pretty phenomenal turnout too. Like that's, especially the summer program, I think that's even more impressive just because people tend to be a lot busier in the summer, so that's amazing.
We did have, so the Red Creek had the daycare that was in there, so they were jumping into the open gyms, so that helped boost that number up. I was hoping to have more come out to the school forest, and I only had 2 families come, but I was happy with it because I felt good about opening it up and letting people know that it was available. They had to provide transportation out there, so I don't know if that was it, but I was happy to offer those opportunities. And programming like Merrill, Wisconsin, they actually don't do a lot of summer programming, their community ed program, because some families are so busy. So I wanted to do something fun, and that's kind of why I went with the theme for the week. So yeah, we did tie-dye bags, rock painting, cute paper owls, and learned about owls of Wisconsin, a lot of fun stuff.
I just wanted to say I was fortunate enough to take one of the ASL classes last winter, and I thought it was great. And but like the board to know, if you were unaware, we actually had a few people in that class that I was in that came from well out of town because there was nothing in their area, and this class offered it for them. One person I think had a family member who was having who had hearing loss, and another person was taking a caregiver thereof, and they came here for that. And that was just really neat to see too. It wasn't just our immediate community, and the word did get out. So congratulations on getting the word out that far too.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Just because Sarah, I know Sarah made a fantastic presentation, and then when it got converted for you, what you saw on the screen tonight was a little bit chunky, and she called and double checked with me, and I opened it and it was fine. Somewhere between the conversion after my desk, it got like that, so I apologize. I just wanted you to know I did check when you called me. This happened after the fact, so I do apologize for that. But
Thank you.
With this being new, was there one like big takeaway where you're like, ooh, and you maybe didn't expect it, or you learned and will do things differently or continue to do things?
So my favorite event, I'm just gonna say what my favorite event, like what I love the most, well, I loved all of it. I'm thrilled to be doing this and working in the community, but I teamed up with Meadowbrook, which actually Alex Woods had talked to someone at Meadowbrook and said, how do we do something with the school? And he said, talk to Sarah Brown, which I didn't know. So I ended up talking to Meadowbrook, and I connected them with the high school special ed department so that they could start working. And then I worked with the individual there, the event planner there, and we had spring flings. So she came and she had helpers, and they brought residents from the assisted living. And then I obviously invited everyone. I had it in a catalog so it could be intergenerational. So we had young kids, families, and then we had the assisted living. And my favorite part of that event was, well, the whole thing was great, but there was an individual in a wheelchair, and he said, thanks for having this. He goes, your school is beautiful. And he said, I see a lot of walls a lot, and so it's nice to be able to do something else. And just to see them with the kids was absolutely amazing. So it was work, but it was great, so.
Sarah very quickly got herself connected to a lot of other schools around the state that do community education, and so you learned a lot in those first couple months of being on the in the role, right? And then I feel like we launched really, really solidly for our first year. So.
And I want to say thank you to the district for initially I was able to create an office, and then I was given a classroom so everything can stay consistent. So like the CCU having their financial classes, Children's Wisconsin coming in doing their classes, we have a set classroom, which is phenomenal. So I'm hoping that it'll make it easier for families because they know, oh, community ed room is there. We're also hosting Girl Scouts out of that room. A lot of great things are happening. So,
Thank you so much, Sarah.
thank you.
And 9.2, that brings Connie. Before Connie. Okay, well, while Connie is getting ready, I would love to just share a little bit of information. So Connie has been our Nutrition Services Director for 20 years?
20 years.
20 years. Just a few of the accolades that in 2024, Connie was the School Nutrition Services Director of the Year for the state of Wisconsin. Last year, she was nominated to serve on the School Nutrition Association Future Leaders Program, and most recently, she was elected to be president-elect of her statewide professional organization, which is all a fantastic credit to the work that Connie does. In spring, if you attend any of the banquets, you will see some of the fantastic catering work that they do, in addition to the school nutrition services that she's going to tell us about today. So congratulations to Connie, and we're so glad to have you.
Well, you are extremely kind, so now I'll leave. No, I'm just
No, you still have to talk.
Yeah, I'll go through this super fast because I don't know what everybody wants to know or what you don't want to know, so we can go through it really fast, and then if you have questions, we can absolutely go through it again. But I just wanted to give you a look as to what food service really is and why it matters to our student success. And that is a lovely picture of our whole nutrition team. So there is the four buildings within our district, but we have a very small team that accomplish great things. This slide is actually from the School Nutrition Association, and throughout the state of Wisconsin, 483,600 lunches are sold daily, 226,000 breakfasts are daily. And what we're seeing across the entire state and probably the entire nation is that the inflation is going up 27%. Funding is being cut. We're hearing that across the boards with everything. All school districts are having significant trouble maintaining their budgets. However, I want to say that school nutrition is still very important, that school nutrition has proved attendance rates have improved by 1.5 days, and math scores and reading scores do go up with good nutrition. So outside of just saying like, oh, it's really important that we're having ACTs or something else, I think we need to be making sure that we're encouraging breakfast on a daily basis. We do offer breakfast on a daily basis for free currently. We'll have discussions about that if that continues in our future. However, with breakfast being free, it is based on participation, and how many students are eating is how that revenue gets affected. And sadly to say, everything comes down to money. So we can put on a good program, but we still need our students to participate. So here, this is just a snapshot of the Black River Falls School District. So we sold 105,462 breakfast in the entire year. Lunch was 163,460. We have 746 of our students are eligible for free, and 82 are eligible for reduced, which puts our whole total free and reduced at 56.9%. So we can see that we also have a significant need in our district to make sure that our students are getting a good meal.
And can I pause for just one second? If the board remembers, the year prior, we were providing free breakfast and free lunch, and we know that a lot of our families stopped filling out the free and reduced form, and so we believe that number is still underreported from our actual reality. Because we were charging for lunches last year, more families filled out the form. I anticipate we'll get even more families filling out that form right away this fall. So I would say 56.9 is likely still underreported for our community.
Which will be wonderful because we
It all
get
helps
more
with funding,
revenue as
absolutely.
much, but the other thing is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, high school, I think it's in our registration packets when the students, so the parents actually have to flip right through and hopefully open it and fill that out, because that'll be a benefit. I'm sorry.
Can I just,
Oh, yeah.
with, I'm sure we're not the only school district that was experiencing the underreporting. Has the state
Well, we were very, very unique in offering free lunch. So when we weren't
Yeah.
offering free lunch, families filled out the form because they wanted the assistance. But when nobody owed us money, they were much more hesitant to fill out the form. So we were unique in that, yep.
Community eligibility
Yeah.
provision just made everybody free, and when we made everybody free, then nobody filled out the paperwork, so yeah.
Okay.
So this is just a glance at a typical breakfast cost anywhere between $2.50 to $3.25, and a typical lunch is $4.50 to $5.50. So that's cost and labor and insurance and benefits and all the good stuff. And you can see from the reimbursement rates from the government, we're getting less, like $3.05 maximum. For a free student for breakfast, and 40 cents for a regular paid student for breakfast. And I can't see the lunch, but I know it's my eyes today. It's less than $5 in our federal reimbursement for our lunch free students, and it's like 47 cents, I think, for our paid students. So you can see the revenue is not there at all to be able to be sustainable. So we can get into that a little later possibly, but that is why we do the catering. That's why we do the a la carte. That's why we're talking to our principals. If you're not having school that day, let us know, because every time a student's not in front of us, we're not making money. And we are a business, so we need to be making sure that the staff is equal to the students participating. So it's kind of hard to say. We're a loving business, but we are a business that have to make our own money in nutrition. So our nutrition team as a whole, we do fuel the body so that the students are ready to learn. We impact students on a daily basis, and I tell the girls that they are, girls and gentlemen, we have gentlemen now too, we impact the students' life cycle. I mean, we're teaching them what a balanced meal looks like, what portion sizes look like, how to build a tray, what's healthy. They're teaching connections through food, because food is a language on its own. So just that communication, belonging, we are the welcoming place. I always tell the girls and gentlemen that we do not discipline. That is the principals, that is our aides. We are the happy, welcoming place. We never discipline. The girls are always instructed that they are to never say no. They're always, I'm sure that can happen, let me get back to you. Let me be the one that says no, when the principals be the ones that say no. That way, that communication is always a welcoming place for our students to have that safe spot. The cafeteria is that one place where the students experience our whole school community every single day, so we want that to always be welcoming and inviting. And of course, that drives participation, which drives finances. So what do I do? I'm that liaison for the students between their nutrition, their experience, and their belonging. I lead the staff through training. I set that culture of how we're gonna perform that year. For the district, I do the overall budget, the operations, standard operating procedures within the district. Of course, I understand Shelley and Brandon are in charge ultimately, but we do have our individual school SOPs and our HACCP and our crediting. Everything that we do has to have documentation, which you will see shortly. I do all the writing of the grants, and I do all the contracts for the breakfast program, the lunch program, the after-school snack program, the summer food service programs, because every time that we offer a program per building, and even with our childcare, everything has to have a contract with the state, and the state, it all has to match what we're doing. Right down to, are you claiming a student by a computer? Is it at the front of the line, at the end of the line? I mean, it's very detailed, and they want to know everything. So I do also work with our regulators. I am in contact with DPI, who I actually toured this summer with, training other districts on the new regulations. I work with USDA, the local health and human services, our vendors. I do all the procurement, the contracts, RFPs, and the letter of approvals, and obviously work with our community, try to get them invested and invited to participate in our programs. So most people that would enter this line of work would feel like it's just gonna be great to feed kids, but we do a lot more than feeding kids, and the opportunity to actually get in front of a student is actually the icing on the cake, and that's why a lot of times I'll have these little catering things like, let's go have fun, let's have homecoming and go out there. And that's the way that I'm guaranteed that I'm gonna get in there and have fun with the students, because that's another reason why I'm here. So the kitchen is a business, which we talked about. We have to be self-sustaining in Fund 50. If we're not, then we go to Fund 10, and then that's never happened in the 20 years that I have been here, and I don't think Shelley would ever want that to happen, or Brandon. And I know our staff would not want that to happen. So revenue, we get all our revenue from the federal, the state, and our students. We do a la carte and catering to make up the shortage of the revenue, and then other revenue could be potentially grants that I write. Our expenses, our food, labor, equipment, supplies, utilities, inventory, just we have to make sure that we're forecasting, we're building that menu according to what we need, our storage needs, our receiving waste. This is a new requirement of tracing product by origin, so that we can only buy American products in our world, so we have to trace where all our products are coming from, so the girls have that in their storerooms. Customers, our students are our customers, so that's why participation matters. Quality, the food has to be safe, appealing, nutritious, and consistent, and our people, we have to make sure that we're recruiting them, retaining them, which is the most important, because obviously there's a cost associated when we have to train new people. So another thing in school nutrition is they pass the professional standards for leadership. So all nutrition staff have to maintain 6 continuing credit hours per year as well. And a food service program and education support service is operated like a business. All right, so school food service procurement starts long before the meal. So like right now is when we're starting to plan for next year. So I'm never in the current year. We're not planning just 1 week at a time. We're not running to Walmart. We're building those systems for that entire school year. So like November is gonna start hitting pretty hard, where the government will come in, they'll say, Connie, you have $80,000 this year, and these are the manufacturers that we proved, and for like, say, chicken, we may have 5 or 10 vendors, however many we have, and we will have to write an RFP. So this is what the chicken nugget we want, this is the chicken patty we want, it has to have this much sodium, this much soy, or whatever we're choosing. And we choose this within the 17 area school districts, so we don't act alone. We do that intentionally so that all of our schools have that same commitment to one another. But we'll write that. Then one of the other requirements under the procurement is that we have to taste it, and we have to have the cheapest product. So we gotta go through all those lines. Once that all happens, then we can actually procure the food and write the approvals. When that opens, it opens up usually February, March, and we will order for the entire year for our products that we're gonna get. And then we're done until the new year. DOD is the Department of Defense that I work with, and they will procure all of our fruits and vegetables for us. So we're currently working out of Milwaukee with the company. So part of the direct diversion dollars that I receive, I could contribute all of it or a portion of it to DOD and get fresh fruits and vegetables. And it's actually the best quality product. The problem we have a lot of time is our timing. They may want to come at 4 or 5 o'clock at night, so then it becomes a staffing issue. So we're working through that. And so that delivery, we just have to make sure everything's arriving safely, and we're storing it, receiving it, inventorying it. Everything that we do in our nutrition world is document, document, document. So we're paper, paper, paper. So menu drives the money. I write the cycle menu. We have a 6-week cycle menu for lunch to keep things consistent and moving. We have a 3-week cycle for breakfast, which keeps that moving. We have to forecast, so then obviously the attendance in our schools, we're paying attention to what is the attendance, what do we predict is going to participate, how much are we going to order, and balance those out. That tells us how much we're going to procure into that new year, what we can purchase, what we don't purchase. Is it smarter to buy beef this year or pork this year? Where's that money going to be utilized best? Because like if beef is way up here, then we're not going to want to go buy beef commercially. We're going to want to buy beef through the government. So there's a lot of balancing that we play with that. Production, making sure the girls are really good on their production, how much labor, inventory, all of that goes into our food, and the finance, the bottom line, how much will this food cost when we're all done. So through direct diversion, we maximize this year, 26, 27, $83,500 in state, it's actually federal funds, sorry. Nope, that is state funds. Through the state funds by purchasing directly from our approved manufacturers, establishing the fiscal year contracts for February. At the core of our operation, it is a cycle menu that drives pretty much everything that I said. So our menu is our most powerful financial tool for keeping it cheap. Or not cheap, but realistic. So getting into just like a really quick look at breakfast. This is our meal pattern. For breakfast, people are really kind of shocked that we only have the 3 components. It's fruit, grains, and milk. New this year is meat alternative. Years past, we didn't have to serve any meat for breakfast. It was 2 grains, of which the law was serve the first grain, the second grain could be a meat to count as the second grain, which everybody got really confused about. So it is nice that now meat is considered one. So when they say 1 cup daily of fruit, that's technically the half. We do a half a cup of fruit, half a cup of juice to meet a 50% fruit requirement for that day or for that week. They can have that daily. You can only offer juice 50% of the time. So we'll do half a cup of fruit, half a cup of juice every single day. And then grains, we have to document grains, what qualifies for the grains, because 16 grams of grain equal 1 grain, and we have to prove that. And then the meat alternative would be the same. 1 ounce has to be proven, because you can't have like a product that has too much waste in it or too much soy or something that's not going to count as the full grain or full ounce of meat. And then milk is full. So once we get through that, then a student has to take a fruit, which is the law, which I agree that we really should provide it, but I don't necessarily know that they have to take that, because that gets into the food waste, and then I hear a lot from the buildings that we have too much food waste because they have to take it, but that's the law. Okay. So this is just a snapshot, and I was just cheating, so I just grabbed a couple that I give the girls. So all those numbers are just for them for when we're ordering, but we try to keep it really open. We have on that first week banana bread, a pancake on a stick, which is like a pancake with a sausage in it. We have a hash brown stacker, which is a hash brown with ham and cheese. We have an omelet on a croissant, an English muffin, scrambled eggs, breakfast pizza, combo bar, which is a sausage and egg bar, oatmeal bar, French toast, cinnamon toast bar. Just kind of open. I try to keep Monday super, super easy because the girls are ridiculously busy on Monday because that's when their shipments come in. So to keep the menus a little bit easy kind of keeps our cost under control for labor as well. Alrighty. Added sugar was new last year. So we are only allowed 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce for our cereals. So these are the list of cereals that we offer, and that would be their contribution of sugar. Again, we don't go to Walmart. We have to have everything specially formulated for us. Okay, and this would be our yogurt, that no more than 12 grams of added sugar per the 6 ounce, which also is quite complex because it's very difficult to get the formulation from the yogurt providers that haven't caught up with these rules yet. So I did find one bulk yogurt that fits into this. So we'll be introducing that this year. Okay, so this is school lunch. So like if we just chose grade 9 through 12, it's a little more complex, but pretty basic. Fruit is 1 cup a day. We do fresh and canned every day. Vegetable, that gets broke down into subgroups. So within the week, they have to have a starchy vegetable, a legume, a green vegetable, a red, and an orange. And then anything else is just considered other. So we make sure that meets weekly. The grains, they only are required at high school level, 2 ounces per day. Meats, 2 ounces per day. So you can see like where a kindergartner gets 1 ounce and a 12th grader gets 2 ounces, and that's by the regulation. So that's why a lot of times those whole muscle meats, which we do offer, and we offer 3 and 4 ounces up at the high school, because visually 2 ounces of meat, they don't even think they're getting food. So we're very cautious on how we're providing our foods to make sure that it also looks visually like they're gonna get full. And then of course milk. So then if you flip to that next page, oh, sorry.
You said looks like they actually get full though. Yeah, they feel full when they're done.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. So the children have all-you-can-eat garden bar.
Yeah, okay.
But when a child looks at, like, if you think 3 ounces of meat is like the size of a deck of cards,
Right.
and you cut that now even less to 2 ounces, visually, that doesn't look like a lot of food. So that's why it's a little more complicated to serve like the whole muscle meats, because visually, visually it doesn't look like a lot of food because they're only allowed the 2 ounces.
Got it.
So if they process that and they add like a breading on the outside and you squish it down, now it's big and visually it looks bigger. So now it looks like I have more on my plate.
Back to your other comment, they always have unlimited garden bars.
Thank you. They can have as much fruits and vegetables.
And I was gonna say, there's fruit on that
Yes.
garden bar as well, it's not just a salad.
Yes, fruits and vegetables unlimited. And that is just like a very small, like if you think like a cheese stick is 1 ounce meat, an egg is 1 ounce meat.
I was like, that wouldn't even cut it because we're all.
Yeah.
My son would be
That's-
like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but these are USDA rules that we have to follow, just so you,
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you just monitor, like when, this is just 2 of my 6 weeks, because I wasn't gonna bore you with everything, but just gives you a quick little idea. When I put in like your baked potato meal or the corn and the potato salad, those are ways that we can contribute to our starchy vegetables and the hummus. I put all of those into the hummus and the baked beans. Those would be our legumes that I'm putting into the meal so that the girls don't have to think about it. They just have to worry about red, green, orange. But that's simple menus, hot dogs, tacos, Swedish meatballs, roasted chicken. I am trying 3 new menus this year. Chicken shawarma is one of them, super excited. It's hugely popular in our Green Bay area, so I thought we would bring it here and see how the kids do. Hopefully they'll like it. Last year we had a chef come in at the high school and we tried chicken pesto. Kids absolutely loved the chicken pesto, so we're gonna try that again. Then, we're trying a hobo meal, which I don't know how that's gonna go, but kids love camping, so we're just gonna put the chicken and the, chicken, potatoes, and corn on the cob all together in a thing and cook it with some honey, garlic, and see how it goes. Makes it a little bit fun. Okay, but is school food healthy? I think, we can all discuss healthy all night, but it is nutritionally balanced and it is the requirements. We are mindful of sugar and sodium. We don't put additional sugar and sodium out for our students. We took that away way back, 2010 probably. Whole grains, nutrient dense foods, we're always encouraging our fruits, our vegetables, our whole grains, and it has to be designed to be eaten. So the healthiest meal is the one that's nutritious but actually eaten. So that is our most important thing to make sure our kids are eating, so they're learning. So I think we kind of talked about this, but pizza is a great example that we don't go to Walmart and get our stuff. Everything is, and I did a couple of these little side notes for you. Pass them around, but these are like, that one would be our formulation statement, and this is like the CN label. So it just tells you, oops, so sorry. So this here is 1 month of documentation that the girls have to have in the kitchen at all times. And this is what I do all summer long is I'm playing with the computer and we're designing all the foods. So then they get a production sheet made and all of those get attached to it because when the state comes in, I have to prove that I am serving the grains and the protein as I'm documenting. Okay. Okay, we just went through that, so I don't even have to show that. The people behind the program, statewide, they're saying 40 to 60% is leaving the field of nutrition in school nutrition, which is really, really scary because we have to recruit, retrain, train, document, professional development. I mean, there's just so many pieces to that, and it takes our whole team to do our jobs. I can say in Black River Falls, we've had nobody leave this year, so I'm super, super excited. It has taken a lot of retraining on my part of how to be a leader and how to keep good staff and working with the amazing staff that we have because we could not do it without them. We truly, truly have some of the most gifted, well-trained staff in the area. I believe that to my core. They understand and they follow our regulations, which prevents our deficiencies later. And we have to be rule followers. And I know sometimes it's like we get called bad food people. But if we don't follow the rules, then we forget the rules. And when DPI comes in, then they are watching and they'll be like, why did you do it this way? You know better, you know? And then they can actually take money away from us, and they have taken money away from us. We are the only, to my understanding, we're the only ones that get fiscal action if there is an error.
When was the last time you think DPI has taken money away from us?
5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was over an Uncrustable.
Moving on.
Yep, and I don't know that they actually, I don't think they wrote it down, but I don't
That's
think
what
they
I'm
took
saying.
the money because
That was
it
my
wasn't
point.
enough. Yeah, it was under $500. Yeah, so as long, I think as long as it was under 500. So thank you. They did not take money from us, but they could have. But we had really good documentation, and it was just somebody was helping, and it didn't help. So food, sanitation and food safety, we receive our food, dry storage, preparation, we're making sure allergens. We do have a lot of allergies in our district, so we have to be very mindful of that. Cooking, time, temperature, equipment control, service, holding temperature, safe service, monitoring cooling studies, because if the girls want to use anything the following day, we have to be proving that everything came into temperature and making sure that we're always cleaning and sanitizing. Food safety isn't a moment, but it's a system that we have to practice every day. And again, our world is really not serving food, but document, because we have to prove everything that we're doing. Regardless of what we're doing, we have to prove it. We are some of the highly regulated, most accountable departments. We work with the Wisconsin DPI, and I partner with them all summer to work with them to try to make sure that all districts are following the rules and regulations. We always want to monitor and improve our programs. We do administrative reviews. We have summer food service reviews. We have the school administrative review. We have the Health and Human Services come out twice per year. This year specifically, we had a procurement review where they went through all the RFPs, our vendors, our contracts, how we purchase our food, and we had flying colors, so that was beautiful. We're accountable for more than food on the tray. We have the program integrity, the documentation, the financial management, food safety, procurement, training, and the compliance, which all matters. And it may look simple, but it's anything but. So partnerships, and I talked a little bit about this. I don't know how in-depth you want, or it's just okay to know that direct diversion, I get money from the state. We work with different manufacturers to bring that food in, DOD, same concept, get that money from the state, put it into the DOD where we get the fresh fruits. And we try to partner with our farms because I think that's really important to also try to connect our students with our agriculture as much as that we can. It builds the whole community is the truth of it. So what we are asking from all of you is that you see us, that you understand that we do have a complex school nutrition, that you would support us, recognize that quality programs require people, resources, and investment. Partner with us, have conversations, come see what we're doing, champion us. I mean, we want to be heard, part of the team. So when you're talking about student success, school nutrition belongs in that conversation too, because we're not just serving meals, we're creating those meaningful moments for all of our students, our staff, and our families. The cafeteria is a landing place for some students. Lunch is more than a meal. It's a place to connect, a place to feel seen, a place to belong, a place to simply be a kid. And we want every student to walk into our cafeteria and know that they belong here. I don't know if any of you have heard, but we do have some students I've heard that go home, they have to make their own suppers, and they can't use the stove, and they're making cereal as their meals. Our community is, I don't want to say suffering necessarily, but we have some families that could use some help. So I also work as part of being president, soon to be president of School Nutrition Association. That is something that we're really, really lobbying for, is free school meals for all. We do believe that is very important. School nutrition is just, you walk into the building and everything here has been bought and paid for. The teachers are paid for, the buildings are paid for, the computers are paid for, the toilet paper is paid for. But when it comes to nutrition, that's where we draw the line. So I just would like everybody to think about school nutrition as also a piece of fuel for our students to learn. Any questions?
So it sort of sounded like when you're doing your selections, obviously as a business trying to be fiscally responsible as well, but then keeping the nutrition aspect, that you're really locked into certain vendors and you don't really have much say over that, and it's more, I sort of got the sense, and I don't know, given we have a couple positions here, I want to sort of use the analogy, like almost like you're through a gatekeeper where the insurance then says no to what you want.
Exactly.
And that's not really anything we can do here at this level. That's
Absolutely.
Connie, just for clarification, the 17 districts that you're talking about, you are a voice of that 17. Yes. There's not an outside entity telling that group what they need to do. She is one of the 17. They collaboratively make that decision. It's not handed down to them.
And just to add to that, we are individuals to the point where I don't have to agree with the 17.
I just want to make sure that we understand we do still have some local control.
With the vendors though, to get reimbursed, you have to.
We do. Now, Wisconsin DPI, and there's a lot of steps that go into it, so I'll just keep it really simple. They have all these requirements with specific vendors and manufacturers. And if they meet those criteria, then they get to be the chosen ones that we can then go out to bid for.
So the list from here is already filtered down to here.
Yes.
And from that, we do our request for proposal and then get the pricing. You guys do taste testing from a lot of the different vendors. You take students along to the taste testing. So there's some voice within that controlled group. Freedom within fences, if you will.
Yeah. And ultimately, it comes down to money too, so that's another piece. But yeah, the only thing that we have like the most control would be milk, which we've been working with our milk company, and I have requested to our 17 area school districts that we go out to bid, because I've been very disappointed the labor amount that the girls are doing, trying to clean the milk machines because it's just not been coming to our standard. However, we have signed on to that contract and we have a few more years, and I've kind of just said I'm going to see how this year goes and then we'll see if we go out solo. Years past we have sent it out to multiple milk companies and we only got the one bid, so that kind of puts us in a little bit of a situation as well. I think a lot of vendors, we went out for prime vendor, for example, and we got one prime vendor wanting to service us, one out of the entire state. That makes it very difficult. They only have so many slots in their warehouse as well. There are products that they don't have enough cooling for the amount of food that we order. I mean, we're ordering semis of food, and I could get you numbers that would probably blow your mind, but we have semis of food coming to the point where there's times where we can't get the products that we want to get because there isn't a cooler space for it, which then makes it a little bit more difficult on another level too, because then it becomes like our quality and products that we want to get, because each manufacturer then has like, we won't ship to you unless you purchase 32,000 pounds. Well, I don't need 32,000 pounds. So then that's when I have to partner with other districts to say, I want 500, can you take 500? And then, you know, that's how we build up the semi to actually come into the state. So, I mean, there's just a lot of different pieces to the pie. I'm just trying to give a really big overview. But yeah, fruits and vegetables I can order, super easy, anything and everything. And milk, I probably have a lot more control, but when it comes to anything that's a protein food or a grain, it's a little bit harder. Not impossible, but a little harder.
Any other questions from the group?
Actually, I was when we were at the convention in Milwaukee last January. Thank you. There's quite a bit going on around nutrition. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, I came in and was like, did we get meals tonight? I haven't eaten, and I can't imagine being a little kid thinking that you're gonna have to get through the day without having something to eat. So obviously it's a hot button, and there was a lot of talk about farm to table or farm to school. And I thought, well, we're in a community, but then I thought about volume, and I was like, I don't know how that would work. Have you guys thought or considered like what that would mean? Or
I mean, we're open to anything, and that was just one of the, I spoke for New Richmond last week, and they had their 17 area school districts with them, and one of the first things that I say is listen to your community, listen to your school board. What are they communicating? What do they want? Because we can do a lot.
Connie, could you give just a couple quick examples of some of the farm projects that you've done? Because you usually pick a school is where you've done them because of that volume issue.
Well, the funniest one that I can share is we actually did a pig roast, which I had a lot of fun. We took all the students up to Lunda Park, and I don't think anybody was here when we did that. I know you were, because we were so proud of the education, and we partnered with a gentleman who brought his pig up to the park. He cooked it overnight. He made sure he slept at the park, and he was recording the temperature so that it was going to be safe the next day. The kids were amazing. We had it was an end of the year celebration, so they had like karaoke going, they had bed races, they had just like nice little talking communication areas. All the teachers were there. It was just a lot of fun, energy, excitement built into school nutrition / education and learning. Where do you get your food from? And
if I'm remembering correctly, they collected some of the food waste throughout the year to feed the pig that then fed them in the end. Sorry, I just very much remember that part.
Yeah, but that was beautiful, yeah. So I mean, I just get so excited because it was so much fun and how much education that we're teaching our kids about life skills, right? So I was totally crushed, and that was before I was really confident in my world, but PETA got a hold of us and we're just ripping us to shreds. Like, how dare you serve a pig to your students, and what are you thinking? And I mean, I've had families call me when we would partner with doing Brussels sprouts. You do realize that you work in a school and you serve students. And of course, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Brussels sprouts. I mean, it's a good thing to try. The student, you know, if we're not offering these things, then the students don't know they exist. I've been at some of our elementary schools where children didn't even know what a muskmelon was or a honeydew. And to me, that's just like, wow, that's in my house. You know, we serve that. So we have an opportunity to be showcasing a lot of our foods. We've partnered with Schulte's with, they did beef. We did hamburgers for an event, I know. Multiple times Schulte's has been in our corner. We partnered with Balls Meat, and we've done pulled pork sandwiches a couple times with them as well. We worked with Sun Dairy, which I don't think they're around anymore, but we did steaks out on the grill for the kids up at the high school. Forgetting things, but any time that we have an opportunity to partner, we really would like to. And it's also one of the ways that we showcase to our students that it's a different day as well. I always tell the girls, get it out of the cafeteria, get it out of the servery, get it into the cafeteria, make sure that it visually looks different, we're serving it different, there's a lot of energy built into it. You're out there socializing with the students and drawing that attention, making it exciting. Because our world is, it's food. So, I like to eat it.
Any other questions?
So like a milk contract or something?
We do write a milk contract, yes.
It's like for a year or something?
It is. We write them because we haven't been able to get people to follow up on the bids. So when we write the bids, we've been writing them for 5 years with 1 year renewals. So then if they don't like us or we don't like them, or there's something that we have that opt out. But we've been writing all of our contracts that way too.
Sure.
Yeah. We also have Smart Snacks, which I didn't share that. I'm so sorry, but this would just be our Smart Snacks book, because everything that you sell to a student within the school day also has to meet nutrition regulations. So that I just wanted to share that last piece, because it doesn't matter what we do, there's a paper to document and prove what and how we've done it. Or the girls can tell you exactly, like, oh, you ran out of hamburgers yesterday. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that. Well, at the high school, we have probably 5 different serving lines. So we might have ran out of hamburgers, but what the student might not have shared is that they sell at the cold line or the pizza line or main entree line. So there's always more food, and then we can prove that to you because we can tell you exactly how much food was left at the end of the day or how much in the garden bar, because everything is documented to the ounce. But I mean, food can, I can keep talking, I'm sorry, but food, I mean, people have allergies too, as we know, so, you know, we try to take that in. Everything has to have proof. What did you serve them? I mean, we did that up at the high school, I think one time too, where we served shrimp as maybe it was New Year's, I don't know, we do a lot, but it was a day we did shrimp and one of our staff members had an allergic reaction. I don't think she even knew she had, and it was like, wow. So we've had staff members at other buildings that had banana. So I mean, we do have to keep meticulous documentation just in case somebody were to call us.
So the board got all of your information, and if they have follow-up questions, they can certainly reach out with any other follow-ups that you guys have. Yes?
Or I invite you to come join us for lunch and actually see the operation. Something new and exciting up at the high school we're doing, which we haven't launched yet, nor have I told anybody yet, but I'm hoping that it will draw some good revenue, is we've actually opened a pizza business. So I'm going to hopefully get that going in let's say October, it'll get going. So that'll be the only meal that we will have to upcharge. We're not allowed to sell second meals by law, but we are allowed to serve a second entree. So that it comes with a cost. This second entree will be very loud and clear that it'll be at least $4 for the second entree. It's a way that we're hoping to maybe grow that business and gain some revenue, and it's a very high quality, I would say it tastes just like you went out for pizza. Who doesn't like pizza?
So Connie shared a lot of the great things in nutrition services. Brandon and I have some not great news about the financial side of it, and I just want to couple these conversations briefly because it is part of our current reality. So we did free breakfast and lunch, and Connie alluded to or told you that participation matters because the more reimbursements we get at the free or reduced rate, if there are meals that don't cost that maximum, we still get that same amount of reimbursement, and thus the fund balance grows in Fund 50. If you recall, if you were on the board when we made the decision to stop doing the free lunches for all, there's a fund balance in Fund 50, which is nutrition services, and then Fund 10 is all of our flexible spending. Those two revenue sources cannot cross, they stay completely separate. So Fund 50 had a healthy fund balance. We were able to take, I think one year it was like a $150,000 loss in order to do the free lunches. And then the next year it was projected to be about a $200,000 loss. And that's when the board said, we can't afford to do that. We can't make that happen. We've done free breakfast for all students for many, many, many years. This is the first year that we are running at a deficit that Fund 50 is going to look to Fund 10 to be able to provide that. Fund 10 is closed for business. There is no wiggle room in there at all. That is the funds that we are asking our community for referendum. So it is very possible that we would recommend eliminating the free breakfast for all as well, because that's going to be held at competition with staffing and services directly for kids. And I hear you that food is an important part of that, but that is going to be a discussion that this board is going to have at some point. So.
Which I would be happy to come discuss at that time.
We've got some time yet before we get
Yeah, no, yeah.
I just like to link the ideas when we're talking about it.
Yes.
Thank you, Connie.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, we want to celebrate that Kim Tenza and Melanie Floyd wrote a transition readiness grant. This is going to provide some great resources, both in training and some cash flow to help develop a transition readiness program at our high school. I'll tell you that this is something that we've done really well a couple times in our past, and then the students that we're serving at that moment in time, our enrollment shifts, and we don't necessarily have a need for those level of transition services. It's really some of our students that perhaps are staying in school until age 21 and how we can help to transition them into a successful world of work after high school. We are at a point in our current enrollment at the high school, we have one student, but when we look down at our middle school, we have a larger group coming up, and so it is time to beef up that programming again. There's a couple of really great models in Holman and La Crosse that Kim and Melanie are connected to, and so it was great that they got a $57,000 grant to help fund some of that work. So that does need your approval.
So it's a motion.
Yes, please.
I make a motion to approve the grant,
I'll second it.
transition readiness grant.
All
Thank
in
you.
favor of accepting this grant, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. So I have a couple purposes for our referendum communications conversation. One of them is I am interested in, I shared this flyer that we put together, and I'm interested in feedback from you. Are there pieces of this that really provided some clarity or were really interesting to you, or are there other things that when you looked at our website, I feel like Julie's done a nice job putting together all of our thoughts and conversations onto the website, but I also recognize people aren't going to go there. Brandon and I are at the point that we are looking for one topic that we can dive in a little bit deeper on for a half-page insert that will go into our athletic programs starting right away when school starts until November. And so we'd love some help from you. What are those topics that really spoke to you?
I thought it was really good. There were a few pieces that were definitely clarifying information to me, like the regional comparison. We didn't even move up in comparison to any other school with the consideration of this referendum. I thought there was some really nice information in there about school voucher program and how how tax dollars do get distributed per student. So I thought the website was really good as well. I think if anything, making sure that people know to go to the website if you want more details.
Okay, excellent, thank you for that.
So the only feedback I got is that orange is a very hard color to read sometimes, and I know that's our school colors, but when you're trying to point out things and you use orange as a color, it's a challenge at times.
Okay, for the highlighting or for lettering?
So like if you go down into the home section there,
Yep.
if you
There.
yeah,
I also was squishing it, so it could also be larger, yeah,
yeah.
got it.
So just like I think if you're trying to highlight something like bold is better than changing color is probably the best way for me to put it.
Got it, thank you. Any other thoughts or comments?
I thought all of the content was so wonderful. The pages themselves felt very, very heavy, word heavy. But I went through it multiple times. I was like, I don't know what I'd remove.
So that is a great feedback. We were kind of put on the spot. Marty had reached out to Northfield and said, when is your meeting? And they're like, oh, we put Dr. Stevenson on the agenda for tonight. Great! So Brandon and I went out there last Monday night, and they were delightful, absolutely delightful. And I made a connection to call at 4:30 in the mornings when there's snow on the roads, and the plow driver is gonna let me know how the roads are out there. So that's fantastic news. I met him that night. They really were so great and asked some good questions. They really appreciated it. This is like something that you sit and marinate over, not like a quick piece. What we're gonna do is take each one of these topics and make a half-page flyer. So each of those are a singleton topic as opposed to everything all at once. But the voucher part really has gotten a lot of traction with some people. They get almost upset when they see that their tax dollars are funding $12,000 for a student to go to a private school, and if the student is staying local, it's only funding $6,000. So that was a topic of interest for a lot of people. And the chairman of Northfield has children in the district, so it was great that he was able to speak to the experiences his kids are having, and it was just really, it was a fun night. And so I appreciate that feedback. If you have other thoughts, wide open for them. Brandon and I are going to start working on that. The second piece is this is all of the municipality meetings. And so we can certainly cover them, but we also want to invite you because you have a stake in this conversation as well. So wanted to open that invitation. If you want to join for any of the meetings, you're welcome to. Maybe at least where you vote might be a good one for you to choose to come to, but that is 100% your choice. We'll cover them otherwise, but wanted to open that invitation.
So are you, what is the anticipation as far as how you're going to spread these out over the course of the next few months, Shelley? Because a lot of them happen like the same day of the month.
September and October. And so
A lot of them happen on the second Tuesday of every
Yeah.
yes,
month.
they
Yeah.
do. Yes, they do.
So-
And so honestly, there are some times that I will ask to be on the beginning of an agenda and then the end of an agenda so that you're not
Catch
able,
both.
and then you kind of book through. I would say that either Brandon or I will be at all of them, but would certainly take somebody else to come along with us if you were so inclined and wanted to do that. So we can just put this out there and you know where we're gonna be, or we can send a calendar invite when they're happening. We just wouldn't want a quorum to show up, so you tell me what your level of interest is and we can make it happen.
I really strongly believe that our support with you at these is valuable. It's kind of
I
just going to send a united front message that, because it is such an important, moment that I feel like somebody from the board should be at them.
And we've got really September and October, so we have 2 cycles of all of these to try to hit all of them.
There are
19.
2 tomorrow.
But we're not on those agendas, so we would wait till September.
It's so quick, yes.
Yeah.
That was,
September, October.
there's 7 of us, and there's, if we all took 2.
If I send out a Google Doc with, we can get on the agendas with them so that we know if we're September or October, so that you have an actual date. send out a Google Doc and you can sign up for ones that work for you. How does that feel?
Elby and Irving are close by for me. I'd love to do both.
Okay.
I live in Adams, can do that one for sure. Yeah, I'd probably get at least another one, but yeah, like I live in Adams, so.
Okay.
And to clarify, the ask is to provide a brief presentation at their monthly meeting.
So what we did, because very seldom do they have like a projector or anything, so we handed these out and then we spoke from a few. We like explained the water bottle analogy for them and then just talked briefly. I started off with these are some things that are going really great in the school district of Black River Falls right now. These are some things we're really excited about this school year, and this is a conversation that we have to have because our funding is just not keeping up with inflation. And so we would happily share some scripts so that you could be the speakers, the carriers of some of that message, or we can be the carriers and you can answer questions, whatever is going to make you feel great about your involvement. We can make happen. So I'm going to do a Google Doc. Marty and Brandon and I are going to get together and get on the agendas for either September or October for each one of these meetings. And then I wondered if we wanted to host some meetings, and the idea of going out to the Ho-Chunk Nation came up, right? So we have done November board meeting at the Ho-Chunk Nation several times. That's after the election. Are we interested in doing an informational meeting at like 5 p.m. in October and then board meeting right after that? Or something like that, or no?
We can hold a Ryan and see what he thinks would work well.
I sure can. And then it feels like in addition to these municipality meetings, we should host some district-wide informational meetings. And so I thought maybe one at the library and one, the high school LMC seems to be a pretty central place. I'm having a hard time coordinating your calendars to try to get a lot of you available on the same night. And so if you want, I can just look for a night that's not one of these meetings and put those down, or do you have a preference for something else?
I kind of like, Caitlin, wasn't there when we went to the thing and there was like a ask booth or something? I feel like gathering where people already are rather than calling them and trying to get them into where you are seems like it would be a better reach.
I do think we have to invite them in at least once because there's people that don't have a connection to any other school events, and so like our senior citizens, I don't know where they would all gather, and so it does feel like it's appropriate to have one ask them in, but then
doing like because they had done it at like the sporting events and stuff like that, of just having somebody be there to like answer questions or have like a little booth like where people already are. But I agree that like not everybody is going to go to like a football game or a volleyball game or a play or something like that, and so having a community ask session or whatever.
Could we host it at like the hub?
we sure can, yeah.
Because that feels like we're still
That may be a
inviting
good
them,
time
but we're
going during
showing
the
up.
school day, actually.
Yeah, but we're still showing up for them. But we're inviting at the same time. It just feels like they might feel more. It's in their space.
Would we be allowed to also put the invite, ask the local churches in the area to put it in their bulletins? Because I know there's a lot of population does not have children in the system who would get to church, but I just don't know what the...
Ask them to highlight an informational session?
Yes, that we...
For sure. And we can put it on Byline and we can put it in the Banner Journal, right?
Yeah, I also I am now realizing how many people listen to the radio in this community.
Thanks for noticing. I'm just saying we had that conversation.
I did not realize how many people listen to the radio in this community, but it is a large number.
Byline was Facebook Marketplace before Facebook.
Yeah, so I will retract every negative thing I said about listening to the radio, because apparently people in this community listen. So, yeah.
Church. Okay.
Oh, podcasts and stuff then.
It's not an either or.
Yeah, right. What else do you need? what is the best way to pick some events to invite people into? So it looks like a lot of these community meetings are the second week. Our board meeting is the third week. We could hit the fourth week and invite people in for meetings if that works for you. And whoever can make it can make it.
Is doing the fourth week, because it's the second Tuesday in November.
Yeah.
Is doing
October would be late then.
that would
Yeah.
be kind of late. I mean, it would certainly hit stragglers, but if people are wanting to make up their mind a little bit sooner, I wonder if we do it a little bit ahead of that last week of October. I don't know how many
When
weeks
does
there
the mail voting start?
The last week in October will be our annual meeting as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so hopefully a lot of people haven't already done their ballot by then, mail-in ballot. Something else that we've done with our 2 previous referendums, we've taken some of these talking points and made some big signs, and then we've asked our local stores, like there was Walmart and Tyson's and Hanson's, and they let us put an easel up with a big sign up at them, and we could certainly have that QR code for them to go to our website as well. And so our marketing crew is just about back for the year, and so we can also get those made.
Absentee ballots are they're sent out 47 days before the national elections.
So that means by the end of September they'll be out. So we will head for September then. You mentioned the Ask booths, so part of the reason I brought up the big easel, we could at a home volleyball game or home football game, I could decorate it with an orange tablecloth, whatever, and have one of those big signs, and board members could be there before the game if you were interested in manning said booth.
Yeah, I don't think we have a choice. I think, we're gonna have to,
Okay, I just need availability, right? So.
Yeah.
Can you set up the sports schedules? Oh, are you supposed to
They're on
go
the-
online?
Yeah. They do send them out every week. I was actually looking at this week's, it looks like everybody, it's all out.
Yep.
It's all golf, tennis, and out of town.
Yep.
Next
week.
I was thinking if we send it out, sort of like the sign up portion for us specifically, according, so that we're not accidentally all showing up for the same one.
I could not get Doodle to work for me. Now they want me to pay for my free subscription, and so that's why I went old school and just sent you guys a list of dates. That did not work very well. I had a hard time getting feedback, and so I will figure something out for getting all these dates.
I'm sure it wasn't the only one
You
who
were
depend
not.
on that.
You
but
were not. You were not.
I contribute.
I wouldn't have called you out. All right, so you're getting a sports schedule, you're getting a municipality schedule, and some dates for inviting people in and the hub, and you are going to sign up for all of the things that you are interested in doing, knowing that your help is always appreciated, and Brandon or I will be available to cover them as well, so we are not going to send any of you out there on your own either. Fair enough? Is there anything else that we can do to help you feel ready to advocate and share information on this? Because after we're not quite closed with the audit and all of those things, if this isn't successful, we are going to be talking about almost $1 million worth of cuts next year. So this is go time to talk hard about our spending. It was impactful in Northfield for them to look at literally every school spending more than us. The list on the backside of the revenue limit per student, when they saw the discrepancy that Galesville, Ettrick, Trempealeau spends $16,000 per student and we spend $11,009, that was really impactful for them. And it led to good conversation, but it is information that has to get out there in ways that feels pointed and accusatory, but it's factual.
Oh, I was also going to mention that I'll plan on being at at least one mostly full day at the Ho Chunk Labor Day powwow.
Oh, fantastic.
In a similar capacity as I was at the fair.
Excellent.
Which didn't yield a lot of people coming up to talk to me, but I did actually make a lot of connections and talk with folks at the fair. So
that's great. That's great, and that will go really. That will be much appreciated for you to be out at the powwow for sure. For sure, it's very meaningful. Okay, we'll get our schedules out to you and wait for your sign up. Thank you for that.
Board commendation procedure.
Yeah, I just shared with you what we had been doing for quite a while. To be honest, when we started off with board commendation, I always felt like it was a really positive way to launch a board meeting. We would invite, like, the music boosters came one time. It was athletic boosters. We've done business partners. We've done community member who makes a very generous donation. And at the beginning of every board meeting, we have a certificate that we give them. The board president shakes their hand, gives them the certificate. I tell them why they're being recognized. Everyone claps, and usually they leave then, and that's kind of the launch of our board meeting. So in the spirit of celebrating more positivity as opposed to focusing on negative, I also recognize that you would love to not have 3-hour board meetings. So I would tell you that when it's done, it is usually 3 minutes, but it is 100% up to you. I just wanted to ask if that was something you were interested in bringing back.
Can you say, Shelley, why it went away? 'Cause
Yeah,
it seems
COVID.
like just
COVID.
because it's just not
Yeah, we
one
started going virtual
interaction.
meetings
Yeah.
in spring of 2020, and then that painful startup and our very negative beginning to board meetings. It just felt like we're not going to invite it just got yucky for a while. So
And you feel like you got enough
people to celebrate?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, good.
I think that sounds,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Alright.
any discussion?
Where would the nominations come from?
So usually I send out a Google form to everyone in the district and say, hey, maybe you have a parent that's been fantastically helpful, or you have a connection somewhere. And then if that doesn't net enough results, then I just go bug people and find some. So usually getting 12 of them to make a whole year isn't that hard. So if you guys have ideas, in fact, I think one time we did our medical advisor, just to be clear. All right, we'll make it happen starting next month.
Oh, do we need
So we have a.
Oh, sorry. We had a motion and a second, but not
Motion
a
and a
vote.
second, can we, and all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
I just assumed you'd have to be a curmudgeon to vote no to that, and I didn't think any of you would do that, so.
All right. Annual operating resolutions.
So this is a collection of items that annually the board just has to declare. Like, you have to determine who's in charge of each one of these federal programs, and you have to decide if you're having an impartial hearing officer. This is that meeting each year where we just make all of those annual things, just like we do our annual notifications to the Banner Journal. So there's just things that have to be done annually, and this is the time when we typically take care of those. There are very few changes from last year. So it needs a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the annual resolutions.
I will second that. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Now moving on to girls hockey, we have Kate Marie here with us, who is a new face for all of you, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about girls varsity hockey. Maybe he's not a new face for all of you, I should assume that.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kate Murray, your new activities director here, and very excited to get started with all of you and get going through things. We thought it'd be a good idea maybe to just give a little general update before we get into the girls hockey piece. So I'll just give you a little update where things are at. All of our fall sports are officially going for the high school as of today. We have a few middle school sports that'll get going on the first day of school. We do see some of our first competitions this week. As Caitlin noted, lots of tennis, golf going on this week. Football is their first game on Friday. Volleyball is a scrimmage on Saturday. And then we really get after it with cross country going next week and so on. I do want to share a update as it relates to two sports that were kind of on the edge as it relates to just if we were going to run them or not. Soccer is what I would say in phase 2 of being a fully instated team for this year. As you are aware, we didn't have a team last year. We did meet the participation threshold for the first day of practice, which was today. We ended up having 19 athletes be registered. We needed 11 from Black River Falls and 15 total. So we did meet that number. Per the allowance from the WIAA, we do have some girls that are participating on the team this year. That was permitted. I did touch base with them on that. Since we do not offer girls soccer as a WIAA sport, we are allowed to do that. We will now be taking attendance averages from the first day of practice, which was today, up until our first contest date, which is slated to be on September 1st. Now, there is a possibility of that changing as I have now moved into my own phase in scheduling of we are currently trying to find more competitions. I'm evaluating where our team is at as it relates to competitiveness and then going and finding opponents that make sense for us to schedule. We can schedule games as early as August 24th, but right now our first competition is slated to be September 1st. If we were to not meet the practice attendance requirement, which is 15 kids on average, I will notify Mrs. Severson and we will go from there. Swim unfortunately did not meet the threshold. Their requirement was last Wednesday. They got to 7, they needed 8. So that was a really tough one to have to pull the plug on, but unfortunately we have the line there and we just didn't meet it. So we hope to maybe be able to bring that back next year, but we will not run it this fall. Any general questions for me before I get into the bulk of our discussion of girls hockey?
You brought up swim. Do you have any updates on the pool? I don't know if that was going to be later.
No, I can tell you, so they finally came in July and there was a almost hand-sized hole down by the floor drain, and Ken's very technical word was they put some goop in it and the goop plugged said hole, and they said that it would stay for either 6 months or 6 years. They were uncertain, so they are working on a quote for a permanent solution, but for now we have stopped the leakage.
Like that, 6 months to 6 years.
Yeah, that's almost like a meteorologist, isn't it? Please go ahead.
Well, getting into our girls hockey discussion, I'm sure many of you have reviewed the packet. Just to kind of go over some highlights, our current agreement involves multiple schools, which include us, Toma, Sparta, Melrose Maduro, Neillsville, and Granton. We host most of the games at our Lunda Memorial Arena. Toma does host 2 games right now per our agreement. Our current name is Tiger Hockey Co-op. And the fee is split per player to each school. That fee last year was $1,169.60. Changes that are occurring. The biggest one is Neillsville and Granton are departing from the co-op. I'm actually not sure where they are going.
They don't have any players.
They just don't have any players. They're not participating in it. So we will have these schools of us, Toma, Sparta, and Melrose Maduro, which then brings us to some particular interesting discussions that have been occurring over the last few months. The first one just being the location of the co-op, which is on page 2 of that packet if you have it in front of you. We have spent some considerable amount of time discussing of where we should have this location. We came up with 4 determining criteria to help us sort of guide our decision. Our first one was the cost of ice. Currently, we'd be looking at around $9,000 per year as it relates to having it in Black River Falls or in Sparta. Toma Youth Association offered $3,000 for the entirety of 2 years. So it'd be $18,000 for a 2-year cycle between Black River or Sparta. Toma's only $3,000. They're offering for free that first year, $3,000 for the second year. Ice time. So this is probably the one that really drives a lot of the discussion. As you may or may not be aware, we have the least amount of practice time in the state as it relates to our girls and boys hockey. This would allow a few different things as it relates to ice time if it were not in Black River Falls. The girls would gain about 5 to 10 minutes more per practice. The boys on our end would have a considerable amount of time as well. But speaking to the girls, they get about 5 to 10 minutes more per practice if they were at a different site. Speaking to Toma specifically, they would get even more if they went to Sparta. Facilities. Toma and Black River Falls offer basically the same quality of rink. There are a few differences that separate the two. Sparta's facility, just to put it bluntly, is severely degraded. They're attempting to make improvements, but it's just not there. That's an agreement between all of the schools. Participation numbers, this is probably the criteria that is the most fluid for us. Looking at participation, Toma anticipates to have about 15 skaters this year. They had 8 last year, they graduated 1 senior, and if their numbers hold steady, they would have 8 incoming this year. Again though, that's fluid. Sometimes those participation numbers vary when it comes around to the registration time. We'll see what they bring in this winter. But as for us, we are looking at a little bit smaller numbers. So we are looking at bringing back, I believe it was 8 returning skaters. We are looking anywhere from around 5 to 6, I want to say, that are going to be coming in. So it is going to put Toma ahead of us as it relates to participation numbers for this season. Again, these can change from year to year, and we just don't know. We don't know for sure until we get around to registration time. Using these metrics, the schools created a point system, meaning lower score good. So 1 point for first, 2 points for second, 3 points for third. Tiebreakers listed in your packet as well. With putting all of our pieces together here with this, it put Toma in front as pointing strictly data driven to be the host for the upcoming renewal. Again, that is not for this year, but that is for the 2 years following this season. Talking as it relates to name and identity, so that's on page 3. The ADs have talked considerably a lot about this. I myself have not been as big of a part of this discussion, but have been brought up to speed. We are looking at Wisconsin Wilderness Hockey with sort of that elk tree branch design you see there as kind of being our primary logo. We felt that this fit what our co-op is and what the landscape of our co-op is essentially. We are a very wooded area, we have a lot of nature, and we felt that the wilderness was a very fitting name for the co-op. Why the name change? There's a few different things. One is if Toma were to become the host site or Sparta, Black River Tiger Co-op just doesn't necessarily fit the identity of the program in itself. And the other one is we do want to give equal representation to all of the schools that we have. We want to give something that really unifies us, keeps us together. So with that, moving to page 4, it is our recommendation when we draft the agreements for the next 2-year cycle that the co-op goes to Toma and that the name change goes to the Wisconsin Wilderness Hockey Co-op. Also, I did want to throw in there a clause of the agreement of if we are to hit a certain number threshold, similar to what we have currently with Toma, that we would host games as well. Any questions as it relates to the co-op?
Well done with the matrix.
Say,
Well done with the evaluation system.
I gotta say, it wasn't all me by any means. Toma's AD did a really, really good job of putting things together for us.
They've wanted to host the co-op for a long time. Obviously, they look at it as much strengthening for their hockey program. So they have wanted to have it. Ice time is the hot commodity, right? I'm concerned about our girls traveling that after school all winter when the roads are at their worst. Hockey is a long season when you stretch that baby out. And we've done some scouting into practices because there's a lot of schools that do it a lot of different ways. As I said, we've not had to explore this because we've selfishly hosted all of the co-ops. We've always been the big school in all of our other co-ops, and so we haven't had to think about what we would do to send our kids elsewhere. There are some schools that they provide school transportation when they send their kids, and they say to the kids, you will ride in our transportation. For example, Melrose co-ops with GET for wrestling. The coach happens to be from Melrose and so drives the kids over when the coach goes, right? We don't have a driver available at the end of the day to drive every day for practice. We don't have a vehicle for them to take every day at the end of the day. We certainly can do a liability waiver for parents who are comfortable with their own kids traveling. If I were the parent of a freshman, I don't know how I would feel about sending my 15-year-old with a 17, 18-year-old driving them to Toma every night. I don't feel good about not being able to offer any transportation solutions to our youngest travelers. That doesn't feel good to me, but Brandon has been talking to some of his colleagues to figure out other ways to do it.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a little bit all over the board. One district I talked to said that they offer transportation, and so they have a van that they send back and forth, but they don't offer a driver for that van. So a coach or a parent has to take that van. But at the same time, in that district, athletes can opt out and choose to drive themselves.
But the parent has to sign off on that.
Yes, the parents have to sign off.
Who's coaching?
That would be, oh my gosh,
Brady
Coach
Matheson.
Brady Matheson.
Brady Matheson, yeah. We do have an assistant coach who works at our high school, right? Yeah.
The numbers part of it is kind of hard to ignore, especially in the looming financial situation in which all schools find themselves in, but that $18,000 is a pretty big difference to $3,000.
So the way Black River has always handled that co-op, we don't charge our hockey players that, hockey is a more expensive sport than a lot of, like, cross country, that is cheap per athlete, right? Hockey is much more expensive. We haven't billed our families. Some of the other schools in our co-op directly bill. If you want to play hockey, you will pay the $1,900 or whatever the amount is. Those families have had to pay that each step of the way. If the co-op moves, I guess we could have that conversation, but my belief is, why do you charge some athletes and not charge other athletes, right? So the district would probably take that cost. But we put all of the costs of the program in there, which includes the referees, the coaches, the uniforms. So we're saving money those first years on ice costs, but a whole new set of uniforms and branding is also going to be a pricey venture. So we met with youth hockey, as I mentioned, because they certainly have a very vested interest. When they have young girls going through the program, it matters to them if there's a high school team to aspire to or not. The reason, I don't know if you are aware, in the state of Wisconsin, there's only one division for girls hockey. Like, there are schools that are Spash and, so Stevens Point and Wisconsin Rapids and who else? And Marshfield, all of them are together for one team, and Little Black River Falls started a team by ourselves, right? Now that Toma and Sparta have been part of it, it's a little bit larger. Toma and Sparta co-op for all of their youth all the way through, so for them it's no big deal at all to change names, because they went to a neutral name a long time ago. They've been Viper?
Titans, I believe.
Titans, sorry, yeah. So it doesn't matter to any of them. I just wanted to share that with you. Youth hockey, the president and president-elect are who we met with, and both of them have daughters coming up, and they said that they can get behind the idea that the location moves where the bulk of the population comes from. And so for the next 2-year co-op, it might make sense as long as we assured them that we're willing to revisit it when we keep tabs on the number of skaters. So.
What is the cost associated with the uniforms?
Excuse me. We haven't priced that out yet.
Andy's probably got some idea what a team would cost.
It's gonna be 10 to 12,000, pretty easily.
So the ice is nice, but I think the ice was their give. Come do this and buy new uniforms, and that's my opinion. They didn't say that, but.
It is also time for the uniform cycle to change right about this time too. So.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense to do that. It's a little bit like play fair in the sandbox.
Because our kids won't have anywhere to skate if we are not part of the co-op, but they also still need us in the co-op. They don't have enough to go without us either. So it's mutually beneficial for sure.
It's crazy. Being from northern Wisconsin, hockey is so big up there that like you would never have a problem in finding students to play hockey.
Does this need board approval or?
Yeah. So we've heard from youth hockey in our community. Have we heard from the current high school families?
We did not reach out to our Tiger athletes, no.
Are they aware that this could have happened, or is this going to be a bombshell that we're dropping on them?
I'm looking at Andy and Kate. I'm uncertain of
I
that.
haven't-
Kate, do you think that our female skaters' families are going to be shocked by this, or do you feel like, because you guys have been talking about it for a couple of years, do you think it's been rumbling?
They've seen these things coming for a while, we've been talking about it for quite a while.
When we met with the president of the Youth Association, they said, as soon as you said we'd like to meet to talk about youth hockey, we immediately said, oh, the co-op's moving, isn't it? So I feel like people have known that conversations have been happening.
And it's a decision that affects a year from now, not this school year.
Correct. This fall, we will still have Tiger hockey at the Milt London Memorial Arena.
The milk.
The Milt. But February, the board will have to sign the updated co-op agreement for WIAA. So February has to happen. They want to get moving on all the rest of the arrangements and uniforms and all that stuff
It'll
earlier.
be January that will ask for because it's due on the 1st of February.
So is there any reason that we can't get some communication out to our returning athletes and those that are potentially coming in as freshmen to just let them know that this is a strong possibility and get some feedback from them? Because if our participation numbers drop off significantly, I mean, that basically tells you like, yeah, like, you don't have any choice but to go to Toma because you get what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
And since you don't need action today, probably.
The other two athletic directors were they were seeking approval without you, and I said I wasn't willing to do that. So it is your choice. If you'd like to tell them that we're putting the brakes on, they'll be irritated, but you are not elected officials in their communities, so that is your
They don't have
right.
to vote for me.
They don't get to vote for you, Casey.
But I mean, it just feels a little bit cold that we haven't talked to our athletes about what's potentially happening. I'm just being honest. I mean, the reason I bring this up is like last year, we got a lot of backlash over what happened with high school soccer, right? And the soccer program and how that fell apart. And obviously they've done the things they need to do to bring it back, which is great. But I would hate to see us to have a bunch of athletes all of a sudden say, well, look, if I got to go to Toma, my kids, we're not going to play, you know?
And so our reaction to that would be what?
I'm nothing. It's more about just having the conversation and saying like, look, it's important to us that we want your kid participating, you know, and we don't want to just say, oh, and this year you get to drive them to Toma, you know. If they haven't heard about this at all until now, I mean that this is a for real thing, and then we're gonna vote on it without any feedback from them, it's just not a fan. That's the best way for me to put it. Now if the rest of you say, hey, I'm gonna make a motion and I'm gonna vote, we're gonna vote, fine. But I think we have time, you know, I mean, even if we gotta make sure it's on for next month's meeting, fine. That's just my opinion, okay?
I asked youth hockey back in the day when I was on the hockey board. There was a high school girls hockey board rep, and so I asked them if that position still existed because that person would be the conduit to all of those athletes, and they said that they don't have that board position. So I did invite that conversation, but they don't have that role anymore.
I was a hockey family too. I was in northern Minnesota for some of my life, but there are so many other costs that are associated with it, and I think that it was awesome that you're capturing some of those costs, but and ice times, like, are we just doing after school, or are they gonna be forced to do it in the morning? And so I think a little more information around those would be good.
The proposed practice schedule would be practice after school.
Okay.
Yep. The other thing I will say, you know, we can always, if you think that there is data that is incorrect after reviewing the packets, we can certainly meet as ADs and re-review that. Because we are essentially working to make this decision based off of data. You know, that was what we felt would be the best approach with this.
And to Casey's point, they are elected officials by our community, and so I get it that we 100% want the best opportunity for the co-op, but our greatest advocacy is for the Tiger athletes.
On the flip side of that, the co-op is, 2/3 not us, so it sounds like we're planning to move ahead on this without the school district of Black River Falls board approval?
I don't know that the other schools are going to their boards. I felt that it was important because of the recent soccer experience. So superintendents make decisions all the time with just what they're just gonna decide and what they bring to their board. And I felt after the soccer experience last year that the board would want to be a part of this conversation. So I slowed it down.
I totally get what you're saying, Casey, you know, especially with the soccer stuff. At the same time, being that we are 2/3 of it and not, or we are 1/3 of, you know, the whole thing, it begs the question, kind of like what you said, if everybody's like, no, we're not doing it, does it change anything? You know, like I don't know that it would change, and it might, I don't know, but I don't know, it just seems like when the majority is not us, and we've been sort of the hosts for it for so long, and now we're not the majority of the people involved in the co-op. It seems a little, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
I'm not arguing against doing it. I'm arguing for a voice for the families and the kids from our community that are gonna be affected by this before we just say, yeah, go ahead and do it. That's all I'm saying. So.
I would also like more information on what we're gonna need to troubleshoot, because like, we already have bus issues, you know, and so some of the costs associated with figuring the logistics out for families that may not have the ability to get to Toma otherwise. I would love to know what that looks like, just for planning purposes.
Realistically, if we delayed the decision on this another 4 weeks or whatever, however many weeks there are until our next meeting, is there a reason that they wanna get it done quickly?
I did not speak with them.
They do not want to drag this into the season. They want to have this solidified and finalized by the start of the season. Andy might be able to speak to previous discussions as to more of why that is, but that was my conversation with the ADs, is they do not want this to go longer than.
The coach doesn't want it hanging over them, you know, during the season, but.
When's that? November?
Say that, I'm sorry.
When's hockey start, November?
I don't have the first practice date off the top of my head, but the first game date is before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So if we did it next month, that would be before their season.
In my opinion, you have the right to slow down our decision-making if that's what you would like to do. I brought it to you because you were in a position with soccer and I didn't want to do that to you again. So you get to decide what Black River Falls wants to do.
And I am certainly open as well to, if you think there are good steps to take outside of communicating with the families, I will definitely want to take those steps as you advise and see fit.
So Casey, would it help if we sent out a message to all of the current high school students who we know skated last year and told them this topic of conversation and what our recommendation to the board was and collect their input? We can either collect that input and share it out with you, or I can give them your contact info and they can reach out to you, whichever way works best.
Yeah, I mean, from my standpoint, I think everything that's put together, the data-driven decision is great. I think the packet that was put together for us to take a look at, I think if I had that information as a parent, I would look at that and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I understand why the decision is being made what it is. The fact that they haven't seen this, that's the thing that I don't like. That's the bottom line. That's it. Like, if they would have seen this last week and given them a week to reach out and to say something about what's going on, and then you throw this in front of us and we say, yeah, go for it. You know, for me, that seems like we've done the right thing for our families, you know?
And the 8th graders too, since it's gonna be next year.
Yeah, and I'm, in no way am I advocating that I'm against what's about to go on here. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, what I am saying is that I think we're moving fast when I don't really agree that you have to move this fast when you're talking about the 2027 season. You're not talking about this season, you're talking about a year from now, you know, so. And maybe I'm wrong about how long it takes to get uniforms and things like that, it could be, but
I think we're okay.
I mean, I think a month isn't gonna kill us.
And I do agree
So-
with, like, the whole soccer thing last year really sucked. And, yeah, it just it kinda smarted after, so I can see being able to get feedback.
So what would happen then if like the 2027 season, like Black River had one more than Toma?
I'm sorry, are you saying like?
Co-op sticks for 2 years,
Yeah.
so now revisit it.
Okay, so it'd be
Yep.
locked in for 2 years.
We have to submit this by February 1st.
But it's for 2 years. He said, what if the next year we
Oh,
had more
sure,
skaters? And we're saying you're locked in for 2 years.
We're
Yep.
locked in for 2 years.
27, 28 years would be
Yeah.
in stone, 29 would be a little up in the air.
Yeah. So youth hockey told us that they had 34 female skaters from
U14
U8
and down.
until U14. Yep. So U14 down, they have a total of 34. So yeah, it's a good number.
Well, and we'll be doing those of us who are, be on the board in whatever year that would be, 2028. We'd be having like the same discussion in 2028 about the 2029 to 31 school years.
2031 school year sounds
What
wild.
was
I'm
the
sorry.
attendance, or you had said that there's, right now we have 4 certain number of games, home games in Toma. What is the breakdown? How do you guys get that number?
They have 2 home games in Toma, and they have, I think it was 7 last year. Andy, do you know what it was specifically written in the co-op as? Was it just written as 2, Toma gets 2, period?
It was 2 is what we've agreed on in the last 2 different cycles, so the last 4 years we've gone with 2 games to be hosted in Toma.
And was that even in the co-op agreement, or was that just us playing nice?
It's part of our co-op agreement, it's not in the one that gets sent to the
WIA.
play, but it's
Got it.
off to the
Okay.
side, it's one of our agreements.
Okay.
So then sounds like we want to table this.
Again, it's just me, okay, so I mean, if.
I don't think it's just
if
you,
there-
right?
if there
I
is
think
something
reading the
for us to
room,
read-
That way.
it feels like we could make a resolution for sure next month. Like, we're not delaying this more than a month.
It would
And
be
that
helpful if
doesn't seem-
someone would make a motion to
Yeah,
delay.
so I'll make that motion. I will table, I'll make a motion to table this decision for 1 month, just pending notification and any feedback from parents. And I guess I would add to that, if you hear from the co-op that they need a decision now, send us an email and maybe we can get a quorum together and figure this out before then, but I don't see that likely to be a big issue. So anyway, that's my motion for the first half of that.
Did you get all that, Marty?
Alright, we got a motion and a second, any discussion?
Who seconded?
Adam?
Thank you.
Alright, all in favor of postponing our decision for 1 month, please signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time, kids. So you see our employment recommendations included there. The principals just did kind of a large group hiring of aides. They all get together in one space and do a long day of interviewing, and then I would say they do a little wheeling and dealing to see who's going to be at which levels. But and there are certainly applicants who have a strong preference for one level or the other. But they said it was a good candidate pool, and they're really excited about some of the people that are joining us. As you are clear, I don't think Andy was on the last one, so Andy probably should have been added to this one, Marty,
As a new employee.
as in his new role, that administrative contract. So I'm just gonna say, whoever makes a motion on this, I would like to add Andy Osgard and the assistant principalship at Ready, because that should get board approval as well. So which left us with an opening at Family Consumer Science at the middle school. And we're excited to have filled that role, because that's a really tough to fill role as well. And we're very, very excited to have Andy moving into a new role with us.
I will make a motion to accept the employment recommendations with the addition of Andy for assistant principal. Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And it just feels appropriate to say, maybe Andy will be back on the new hire list next month. We don't know where he's gonna land, right?
Your email was very funny.
I'm just teasing you. I think you're home for a while, don't you?
I think so.
Excellent.
All right. School nurse job description.
So as Elizabeth shared with you last month, there needed to be some changes in language in her job description in order for her to do Medicaid billing. This job description aligns to all of those needs, and so it certainly meets our needs as a district and gives her the proper authority to do what she needs to do. So it needs board approval because our job descriptions become board policy.
The school nurse job description.
I will second that. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
So the scorecard, I'm so embarrassed, I put it in there and I had errors on it. Where did you get that one from? Can you scroll so I can scroll the other way? That's so fast. That is the new one. The rates of proficient and advanced were wrong on the last one. I apologize. I took them off a spreadsheet that I have internally that we had been doing some tracking, and for some reason this afternoon I started digging and I'm like, I have too low of numbers on there. So I updated them. This scorecard was something that was generated years ago when we started our strategic planning, and these items were kind of cherry picked as indicators of success in each one of our 4 pillars of our strategic plan. There's a finance and facility pillar as well, but I did not include those metrics on here because, to be honest, it's all the things that we've been talking about with the referendum is really an awful lot of that work. And so it's tough to say whether you're making progress financially when, right, it didn't make much sense to me. So you can see that it includes things like our staff feedback survey, it includes our family feedback survey, our staff retention rate, and then those academics. As much as we talk about chronic absenteeism, until we looked at it, you can see that it went from 27.4 to 27.8 and then was 23.9, and so there was some growth made last year without the changes in truancy, and so that's still well above the state average, but it is good to see that it's moving in the right direction.
Our open enrollment also went down almost all.
No, low is bad.
Oh, low is bad.
That is percentage of kids coming in.
Oh,
We're not playing golf on that one. We are playing every other sport where a high score wins. Yeah, no, yeah. So that is not good, but our staff retention was really good this year. Honestly, there's a large group of staff, but when you consider all of we have just about 300 employees, and so when you break it down by group and the turnover that we have, the retention rates are still very strong. So that was just for your information, unless you had any questions or concerns. All right.
Just more of an annual communication, actually.
Yeah. So Mr. Erickson and Mrs. Floyd usually, but she's not here today, so I think Mr. Erickson's got you.
All right, good evening, board. If you don't know who I am, Nate Erickson, assistant principal at the high school. It is my job tonight to talk a little bit about the at-risk programs that we offer in our school district. And typically Melanie Floyd is with me, so we collaborated together to put this presentation together. So tonight there's a lot of information that you guys have seen. We're not going to go through each and every step of it. To be honest with you, a lot of it's very similar to past years, but I'm going to try to highlight some of the changes within our at-risk programming. All right, so there's just a definition of at-risk. So one or more years behind their age group in a number of credits attained. That one really pertains to the high school pretty heavily. 2 or more years behind their age group in basic skill levels, habitual truancy, parents, adjudicated delinquents, 8th grade pupils who score in each subject area in the examination administered under that code. Below the basic level, 8th grade pupils who failed the examination, and 8th grade pupils who have failed to be promoted to the 9th grade. So to the really big, I think, changes to this year as it pertains to at-risk is our truancy process is going to be a little bit different this year, so we've put a lot of time, thanks to Dr. Severson and a couple other players that are coming together and really looking with some of our neighbors and looking at our truancy process in Jackson County and what we can do to be a little bit more effective and a little bit more proactive in our truancy process. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm not going to go through each part of it because there's still a lot to be done, but from my understanding we are going to be working more directly with the courts when students and families are hitting the truancy level and getting some of those conversations going a little bit earlier and just kind of holding a little bit tighter to that process. So I'm super excited about that. It's going to be a new change this year. Also at the high school, we are, for our Phoenix program, which is our credit recovery, that is a lot of our juniors and seniors that are not on track to graduate. And so they're over at our Phoenix program, which is just across the lot from the high school, and they are working on trying to attain credits to get to that graduation mark. So in our Phoenix program, we had a new lead teacher over there last year, Mr. Riley, and he's going to be joining us again this upcoming year, which we are super excited about. But then in addition, we added an aide over at the Phoenix program to help him. And part of that is going to be to try to do a little bit more, and we've talked a little bit about just getting off the computers a little bit. A lot of what they're doing over there is trying to attain those credits online, and with another adult in there, it's going to really allow him to do some small groups, do some more activities that are a little more hands-on, and acquire their learning through that and acquire credits in doing so. So I'm super excited about that, and really the aide was a really good fit. He's been a long time teacher in Black River Falls School District, and I can say his name correct. So it'll be Brad Lobenstein, who was our high school English teacher last year. So super excited. He's excited to get over there. I think he's going to bring a lot of creativity and obviously a lot of expertise to the Phoenix program. You can go through that. So as far as getting, how do students get into the Phoenix program? So there are a couple different steps that we take at the high school. So we have high school transition meetings. So that's all our students meeting with our counselors, talking about where they are as far as credits, what classes they need to take. Do they have any error to failing a class, or do they have to do summer school? So all those kind of conversations happening. So it's not a surprise when students are getting to that point where they are not on track to graduate, and we need to make a shift in their education planning. We also have CAS meetings, another one that this upcoming year for the high school, we will be meeting bi-weekly. And so we will be talking about students. Counselors are a part of that conversation as well, making sure that we are just keeping track of who and when we need to start making those transitions over to the alternative program. This is the last sheet, so this is the data collection. If you want to click into that, Brandon. So I'll just talk a little bit about the numbers, and then if you just scroll over a little bit. So this has data from a lot of past years in it. And so the first number there, if you scroll just a tad, is for Renaissance. So Renaissance is, we are partnered with Western Tech here in Black River Falls, and they have an HSED program down there. And so as you can see, our numbers have definitely went up in the HSED category from the last couple of years. and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we get down into the Phoenix. So when you scroll down into the Phoenix, this one, the numbers have dropped, right? And so if you kind of look at the trends over the years, that number is very low. So couple things that I think are maybe contributing to this is we have started an APEX program, which we're going to get down to here in a little bit. So APEX is a school within a school at the high school, so that is our freshmen and our sophomores. And so with our freshmen, they are a cohort of about 10 to 15 students that are traveling together. They have an adult that is assigned to them, almost like in a case manager role, and traveling around doing their core classes together at the high school. And in addition to that, they have a period built into their day that we call Peak Success, that they're working on high school skills, study skills, healthy relationships, and we do believe we are in year 3 or year 4? Year 3 of the APEX program. We do believe that that is making a significant impact on some of our learners coming up through the system. That is hopefully when they are completing their sophomore year in the APEX program, they're now in a position that we need to start looking at credit recovery because we're staying on top of those individuals a little bit more with a little bit more attention. So we are excited about that program, keeping that alive, and I really do believe that is significantly impacting those numbers. I think another area maybe to consider, and when we're looking at these numbers, is last year we had a new, I mentioned Peter Riley, who came into the Phoenix program last year. And I think he brought a little different vision than maybe what we had in the past. And I do think that getting your credits in that program right now is maybe a little bit more difficult than in the past years. So, and I do think that might be tied to that Renaissance conversation as well, right? So students maybe not getting through the Phoenix program, but the Renaissance taking that option. But that was another one I was thinking through the numbers a little bit, why another maybe reason or factor why those numbers kind of played out why they did. Challenge Academy, we didn't have any students in Challenge last year. And then WIN is over at the middle school, so there should be a data chart. Slide over a little bit, yes. So we don't have a WIN program anymore, that's our APEX program. So that is just middle school, so that number right there, I talked to Mr. Norman, they had 6 students that were inside of their WIN program, which is a school within a school at the middle school level. So really kind of the same concept as our APEX program. And those are our APEX numbers there down at the bottom. So we had 12 freshmen and 10 sophomores. So our sophomores, they don't travel together, but they have their English and math together. And then they also have a peak success period in their day, built in their day as well. So we kind of release a little bit with our sophomore students and try to get them to not have to rely on so much structure.
Hey, could you tell them how you target 8th graders into APEX for freshman year?
Yep.
Because I agree that has been a game changer.
Yep.
They're not so credit deficient by the end of those years, therefore they don't need alt-ed right away.
Yep. So when we start looking at numbers, we reach out to the middle school counselors, and they give us a list of students that they believe would really benefit from our APEX programming. So we have that conversation and we reach out to the families. It is always their choice if they want to be a part of the program, so they get to opt in. And if they are not excited about that opportunity, they don't have to be in the program. But what I would say is, from what I've seen, a lot of families do opt in, right? If the adults at the middle school that have worked with them for years are saying, hey, this would be a really beneficial thing, I think most families are choosing to opt in.
For years, we've struggled with students who fail all of their classes at the middle school because there's no credits that they're earning, and so it feels like there's not there's just not a consequence, I guess. And so targeting kids who have failed all their classes to give them that significant layers of support as they transition to the high school. The last 2 years, we've had some really positive results from that.
Absolutely.
Any questions for Mr. Erickson? Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is something that is required by the state, and so we do need a motion for that.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve our at-risk plan for 2026, 2027 school year.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly expenditures.
All right, monthly expenditures. This is the graph that I show you on a monthly basis, but I didn't start doing this until like January of last year. So it started with data since it goes back 1 month, and we're looking at July. That's the beginning of the fiscal year. There's not a whole lot to see. So you can see red being last year, green is the year before, and then blue isn't really on here. It's just a dot on the graph showing how much we have spent in the month of July based on our budget for the fiscal year. And so there's that graph. This one shows it similarly but different. The one place where we have spent is in our insurance liabilities. We pay those up front for the year, and so that's why that one looks full, whereas other ones did not. And then by the numbers instead of graphs, this is what it looks like. And then I did include this one that compares this July compared to last July. So this is fiscal year to date activity in July versus fiscal year to date activity last July. And so you can see our expenditures are down in total in Fund 10 by about 16%, but don't get too excited. It's just kind of how the money falls, I guess I would say. The biggest portion of that would be in the benefits area, and you can see what we've paid this year compared to last year, but we're also holding off on some of them, waiting for tax settlements to come in so that we have the cash flow to pay for some of these things. So it looks rather promising in comparison to last July, but it's a little bit inflated or deflated, however you want to look at it, just based on when we're making the payments. So this is a nice look at, but well, it'll be a little bit more telling next month or the month after.
So while those don't need approval, the documents, the checks in your packet do need your approval monthly.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly expenditures.
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then meeting minutes for last month, just need an approval on those. Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July.
I'll make a, wait, you're making a
I
motion?
made a motion.
I'll second.
I've got a motion, a second, any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Alright, I've got some randomness for you. First of all, for years we've partnered with the Ho-Chunk Nation Education Department for 4K programming, and we have provided a teacher at both the Ho-Chungra site and San Pillow. We have a 4K agreement with the Education Department that talks about the minimum number of students that are necessary in order for us to supply a teacher. They run Head Start programming as surround for our 4K programming, so the kids and families are already using those sites, and then our teacher goes in and works with the 4-year-olds enough to count them as Black River Falls students and 4K students. So that has happened for many years. The enrollment numbers have continued to drop, particularly families can choose either site, but we've tried to say you could get full day 4K if you'd all come to one site, and they're not interested in doing that. for a variety of reasons that are none of our business, to be honest. This year, the numbers at Sandpillow are significantly lower, and we are in significant financial crisis. So we have notified them that we are going to serve the contract as it is written, which means that we are going to continue to provide half-day 4K services at Pochungra, and we are not going to provide 4K services at Sandpillow. The teacher who teaches 4K off-site is also special education certified, and that teacher is going to spend half a day at Forest Street providing special education services to the remaining 4K classrooms that are there. So we are gaining some, not 4K classrooms.
Just the opposite.
Yes.
We're going to service Sandpillow in the PM and not Pochungra.
Oh, I'm sorry, I flipped the two schools.
You did.
My
Yeah.
apologies, my
That's
apologies.
okay.
So we are only providing services to one of them, and it's going to be the afternoon, and that teacher is going to spend her morning providing specially designed instruction through special education in the mornings at Forest Street. I met with Laurel Meek, who is their Head Start director. She completely understands. She was appreciative of the years that we have, I'm going to say, overserved the contract, right? We've had this agreement for many years, and we've always been able to make it happen. I appreciate Christina's hard look at it and recognizing that we had greater needs that needed to be filled as well. And so we're working on getting the formal agreement signed, but there's been complete understanding thus far. So wanted you to know that. I'm unsure how much you understand about the roles of community health workers in our district. We can certainly talk about them another time. We currently employ 1.5 community health workers, and I wanted to share with you that we work with Great Rivers United Way in training and staffing and the reimbursement rates for our CHWs. They applied for and were, with a letter of support from us, but we didn't write the grant, awarded a grant that's going to pay for 25% of time for our 50% person. So that is fantastic. That means we will recoup 25% of that cost from Great Rivers United Way. So we appreciate their partnership and advocacy. At our next meeting, Upper 90, that is the group that we have worked with for our energy efficiency projects over the last 10, 15 years. I'd have to go back and look at the exact date. They're coming in September to our board meeting. They've got a really cool dashboard that is a very public way to keep track of all of our long-term capital maintenance. And sometimes it's a little alarming when like it's flashing red, but that boiler's still working, so it can just flash red for a while, right? But it's a nice way to map out your long-term capital maintenance. So they're gonna come and highlight that for you at our September meeting.
Is that
And
the same one that came last year?
it will be the same group, yeah. And well, I think it'll be the same group. And then a tour date. You are a tough group to get available on the same night, so I'm wondering if we want to just take two separate nights. On the 19th, there's 3 people available, and on the 24th, there's 4 people available. I can certainly walk the schools 2 separate nights. If everybody would like that opportunity, I am happy to do that. So we can do it this Wednesday for the 3 that works for, and then we can do it on the 24th. Actually, there's just one, there's 2 people can make it both nights, 2 on the 24th, 1 on the 19th. So I'm struggling to find who wants to see it the most and when to schedule it, so I can just do it twice if that makes it easier for you. Okay, then we'll do that. The 19th, I'm gonna meet, and that is, I will send out a calendar invite for both of those times, and we'll go from there. Perfect. That is all that I have for my report.
Any WASB news / other? I have started the Essential Elements of Governance webinars, part 1 through 5.
Excellent. Riveting stuff.
Riveting stuff.
Excellent.
I'm hoping to get some gems out of it.
Good deal. Good deal. The fall regionals will come up really quick. That is something that we've taken one vehicle down for. I can't remember off the top of my head. Marty, do you happen to recall?
Say that again?
Fall regional, WASB?
I don't.
Okay.
We should give people a heads up if things are gonna happen at that meeting.
Usually, or I should? What did you say?
Last time we went, there was like stuff going on that if we could give like a notice to us if we're going down there, like what, like kind of a reference as to what happens for people who haven't gone.
Okay.
That'd be helpful.
Agenda, kind of, or?
Yeah, just to, like, what is it about? Or are you
WASB sends out an agenda, but there was the member recognition. I'm assuming that's the part you're thinking of? Okay.
Any conference workshop attendance? And then school board connection opportunities.
So breakfast this Wednesday, breakfast and a welcome next Monday, the 24th, if anybody else is interested in coming. We have a keynote speaker coming from the University of Michigan, and that it's a university in Michigan. I could be wrong on whether it's northern, southern, I don't know what their mascot is, but it's someplace in Michigan that he is a professor, and he's a speaker, Dante Dixon, and he speaks on hope and resilience and how you build it in your students in your classroom. So we're excited to have him. A couple of our team members saw him speak at a Gifted and Talented conference last year and had really great things to say. So he will be our keynote on Monday, and we're trying to keep all the other stuff to a minimum other than introducing new staff. And I'm going to talk to the whole staff about referendum stuff because I feel like they are some of our best ambassadors when people in the community ask questions about it. So they'll get the full rundown of all the information on that on Monday as well.
So you might be Michigan State.
Thank you. I should have checked for more details, but I should have done. I apologize.
And then any future agenda items?
Or hockey.
Hockey.
And upper 90. Those are the two I have. Do others have topics?
Maybe an MOU update for the nation stuff. I think
Sure.
Alex and I kind of put that on our radar.
Mm-hmm.
Should we, like right now, are we thinking September board meeting or not?
Would you prefer September or October? Probably September. Go earlier, not later.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask. Before the week is done, I'll have all those dates ready for you guys to sign up, and if a Google Doc works for you, that works for me, because then as many of you can make it, can just fill it in yourself. Okay, perfect.
Would it be too inconvenient to shoot a text when that email
Not at all.
That would be super awesome.
I would love to say I've gotten significantly better at checking my email in a timely manner.
I feel like I send, when I need something from you, I almost always text you as well.
Yeah.
If I'm just sending you information, read it or not, the choice is yours.
So those will start next week?
I doubt, well,
Next.
I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at it. I'll look at it tomorrow and start putting some schedules together. And I'll ask Marty to reach out to their clerks, and sometimes they have thoughts on what months are really busy and when they'd appreciate us or not.
All right, any further future agenda items? All right. Can we get a motion to?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Perfect, meeting is adjourned.
Super, thanks so much for your time, everyone.
I am going to save this, I feel like I can get applause for this.
There you go, there you go. Has the meeting been properly noticed?
I swear.